I'm excited about the delves in the War Within, but I am very legitimately concerned, and I believe that currently, as it shapes up to be, it seems to be a flawed system. We're not gonna just say, "Oh, have faith, brother, it's all gonna be okay." In addition to that, it's not all bad news. I will tell you how, in my opinion, this concern can be addressed by Blizzard as long as they listen. And whether they listen or not is your guess and mine. Of course, they have improved their attitude and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to dwell on that. We're not going to kind of talk about the past too much here, but we are going to give examples of the development of Torghast and exactly the feedback that was given and exactly the things that have been said and then later unfortunately ignored. So basically what they said did not match up with what we ended up having. And unfortunately I can't help but hear similar notes, similar tones right now in Ian's presentation at BlizzCon. The concern is around the loot. Let's be clear about this. World of Warcraft is a game about the loot. It's a game about the power progression. Yes, it became a lot about cosmetics, mounts and pets and all that kind of stuff, but it's secondary to gearing up of your alts, and it's secondary to the gameplay loop that makes us feel satisfied from the gameplay as well as rewarded at the end of it. Yes, some things are done for the process of it. Some people run for the sake of running. They don't run for the sake of getting somewhere. However, especially in the context of World of Warcraft, that's a minority. It's not how the game works. The game works about do something, get a reward. Do something, get a reward. Ian says that they are redesigning World of Warcraft with the knowledge of many alts that need gearing up, that need bringing up. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Tick, 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 tick. So the War Within promises to be a lot more alt-centric. A lot of systems are redesigned, war bands are added, etc., etc. Happy, happy days, my friends. Delves are also positioned as play your own way. We will meet you where you are, I think Ian said something along those lines, quoting him. Perfect, awesome, great. Some of us are simply tired, simply sick of the age-old system of grinding dungeons. Whether they're time-walking dungeons, Mythic Plus dungeons, normal dungeons, follower dungeons, it's all dungeons. It's repetitive content. We grind it. Why do we grind it? Ask yourself. We grind it for freaking loot. We grind it for the increase of that, for the bump in that item level. Really. Because what kind of fun is in you running the same dungeon over and over and over, especially if it's something crap like Brackenhide Hollow, for the 50th, 100th time, okay? You tell me, you're doing it for the loot, mate. You're doing it for the loot and for a little bit of a sense that you pushed a little higher from Mythic Plus 14 to Mythic Plus 15. But that is a minor part of it. Ultimately, you want the carrot at the end of that stick, don't you? Okay? And don't lie to me, okay? Because maybe some of you, like 0.1%, are purely just for the sake of it. Ah, I've done it. But most of us want something to show for it. We want something to show for it. Now, they're saying, don't do dungeons if you don't want to. Do delves because you are a delver. I think he even in his slides there in presentation, he says the day in the life of a delver. Perfect, Ian. Awesome, mate. Love it. The problem, however, is that they are designing a system that is presented to us as a self-contained system, that is your gameplay loop, Gyro, and my friends, my close friends here from my World of Warcraft little minuscule sub-community. However, when it comes to the loot, by design of the delves, it looks like you are not getting any loot, just like you were not getting any loot in the run of Torghast. I spoke about this and expressed a similar concern during testing, even before Shadowlands launched. It's well over 2 years old, this element now. Same freaking thing. No loot along the way. But Torghast also sucked because there was no loot at the end of the road. Here we have loot at the end of the road. So some resemblance with Horrific Visions, right? Some resemblance. Cool, awesome. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I want this to succeed. However, the problem is that the loot, the juicy loot, will come from that replacement chest, the big one, the big chest. And Ian says you need keys, and all alpha tested now say it's kinda sorta unclear where those keys to those chests come from, but they come from other activities than the delves. Now you tell me, do you see the flaw yet or not? I like that there is loot at the end of the tunnel, quite literally. That's great, yeah, reminds me of Horrific Visions, tiny bit. But problem is, that in order to open that chest, you're forced to, let's address the elephant in the room. You're forced to do the content that otherwise you might have zero interest in. Let's say the most obvious thing, because we don't know enough, so let's work with what we know. World quests. They might say you have to do world quests, and the weekly quest for doing the world quest gives you a key, and that key opens a juicy chest at the end of your delve. Mate, the flaw that I'm seeing is the fact that they say that the whole endgame loop can be around grinding delves, just like they give that opportunity for years and years and years to raiders and to the dungeoneers. Now we have delvers. Wonderful. However, you, Ian, and the Blizzard team force me, kind of sort of like, it's sort of a hush-hush thing. It's not front and center, but it's pretty damn obvious if you think about it. You force me to do other content, whatever that content is, outside of the delves, in order to be able to get the juicy bit at the end of the delve. That is the flaw that I'm seeing. How to fix it? Very simply. Make sure that the keys come from the delves. I'm not saying it has to come from every delve. I'm saying make it rare. Make it drop maybe 10% or 10% chance drop from one of the stronger bosses within a delve, not the delve, okay? Not the delve where the chest is. That's cool. Then I can then venture out and do optionally other world activities. Awesome, no problem. But if I don't want to, and I accept the inefficiency of this, it still then remains a self-contained system if I want to, and I can continue running delves on my different alts and stuff like this, especially and hopefully, that's another thing, hopefully those keys that we get from world content, from wherever, hopefully at least they are war-bound. At least they're shareable in your warband. At least if I level up my, or whatever, gear up my paladin, I can then get a key on him. It's a war-bound key, and then I can use that key on my druid who runs delves exclusively. Okay, I can probably work with that. But these are my thoughts. These are just not to waste too much of your time. They say one thing, that yeah, we hear you, we want to meet you where you are, we want to give you the self-contained system just like dungeons, but you get everything, including the great vault rewards, including everything just from the delves. Yet I can't really, can I, Ian? Because I need that damn key that seems so far to come from other sources. I haven't even had one confirmation that would say that the key has a chance to drop from the delve. It needs to drop from the delve, among other things. I'm not saying exclusively, but I'm saying among other things. Give us keys from the delves, that makes the system loot-bound and basically self-contained for those who choose to continue running the delves. That's my point. No other point of making this video longer than it is. I think it's a legitimate concern. I hope I delivered my message loud and clear to you. I welcome educated, sensible discussion in the comments down below. Of course, we don't know exactly how it will end up, but it sort of resonates in my mind, as I've been saying exactly the same freaking thing when I was in beta of Shadowlands. I said these things, I invited discussion, I expressed similar concerns about the Torghast, yeah? And then we got such a doozy, it's not even funny. Now, 2.5 to 3 years later, even they from the central stage of BlizzCon acknowledge the fact that it was a doozy. And yet they are designing another system, saying to us that it's a play your own way, Gyro, be happy, man. Yet you can't get the loot unless you do other stuff. That's basically what they're saying, mate. Talk to me in the comments down below. Is that how you see it? Do you see it as a concern? Yeah, if they don't change it, obviously. I see it as an easy fix. It's an easy fix. They simply need to add those keys as sources of loot within the delve. That's it. And make them warbound, of course. So if anyone somehow in Blizzard sees this video, which is unlikely, but who knows, the world is full of surprises, then please, please, please don't let this be another Torghast. Don't let it be another lootless thing unless you force me to do something else Blizzard. Thank you for watching. That's all I have for you today, and goodbye for now.